Hello, it's me again. Same day. I kind of was cleaning because I've got an inspection coming up, and I've been doing a little bit of cleaning every day. I don't clean all in one day. I physically can't keep up too well anymore. So I am using the wrong scissors. Those are the kitchen scissors. I don't want to get glue on my kitchen scissors. These are the craft scissors. Don't look hopeful. He thinks I have FOOD. I do not. But anyway, I was cleaning the bathroom because A, it needed it. B, I want to scrub it down for the inspection. And I have handicapped rails on my toilet so that I can, get up and stuff. And I was leaning over them to clean the back behind the toilet on the floor. And I felt something pop in my ribs. So I don't think I'm going to be doing anything for the next couple of days. I don't think I broke anything. But I did hurt myself. Somehow, some way. Now, I think I showed you this, but Mom found it's got a hold of me. So I'm going to be crafting, so I thought I'd talk while I craft. But I got this hat for him. And remember I showed you on this haul I've got this. So I was thinking, because at first I was thinking about wrapping this in twine. I was going to take the twine and just go around like this, and then do the same thing on the way up. But then I got to thinking, because I dropped this. And you're thinking, well, Tanya, how does that mean you got to thinking? I bent over to pick it up, and I got to look at it. And I'm thinking, I was going to use spider lights. So why not give them a web? We're going to see, because I've never tried this before, so you're going to learn with me. We're going to see if I can't wrap the wreath form with this. Now, I've never done this before, but sometimes when you're making a wreath, you don't want to cover the whole material underneath. You want to let it shine through a little bit. And I usually don't do that because I just use twine. But this might make it look pretty neat with those spider lights all over it, and the purple flowers at the brim, and some purple lights in the purple flowers, and the spider lights on the spider webs. So we're going to see how that's my idea. So we're going to see how that's going to work. Now, normally I wouldn't film while I'm doing something new, but I was asked if I was going to make any more wreath videos, and I thought, why not? So this is an attempt at a brand new wreath form that I've never worked with before, and I have never worked with this fabric stuff. It is extremely thin, and I need my super glue. Helps to take the lid off your super glue. Now, none of this is sponsored, but this is what I like to use. The little things of super glue you can get at the Dollar Tree are great for small projects, but I find them hard to work with. And I already have trouble with my hands, so we're not going to add to it. So I find these much easier to work with, and for me, it flows better. So I'm just putting super glue down the point, and we're going to do both sides. And if this messes up, because like I said, this is my first time, so we're going to do this together, and we're going to see if it messes up or not. But if it messes up, it's not a big deal. I can get $2 more and try again. So what I'm going to do is just line this up with the super glue and wrap it around. Yuck. And realize I really hate getting super glue on my hands. And you'll notice I've got glitter all over my shirt now. Now, the super glue is not going to stay right away. That's okay. We're going to do a couple of wraps here. And kind of, you want to keep, no matter if you're wrapping with fabric, with cloth, with twine, with this filmy stuff, keep it a little bit of tightness on it. Now, see how that's doing at the top? We'll trim that and we'll put a flower or something at the top of her hat. And so I've got it pulled tight. Now I'm going to loosen it. We're going to pull it tight and then we're going to bring it around and we're going to go down the wreath form another roll. We're going to see how 2 wraps around looks, and then if we need to add more, we shall do so. Because I'm going to be using flowers, I'm sorry, sorry guys, my wreath form, I keep forgetting where the camera is. My wreath form knocked you over. I'm going to wrap the bottom of the wreath form, the base, where the flowers are going to be. I'm going to wrap that in jute, twine. Because I want something for the flowers and the flowers' lights to rest on. That's a little better. Now we're going to repeat the process. Both sides of the wreath form. But notice I'm not doing glue on the center strip. That's because that's where I'm going to be holding this sucker. And I've got enough glue on my fingers. We don't need to add to it. Now this thing has fallen into the floor. So the rest of the thing is in the floor. So I'm just letting that stay in the floor, and I'm going to move the wreath form instead of the fabric. I'm moving the wreath form and pulling up some loose fabric from the floor where it fell and kind of letting it, like I said, see, that's why you keep it tight. See, this is tight, this is loose, which looks better. Tight, right? So keep it tight when you wrap it. Now this isn't going to look neat, but this is a fabric hat. She's not going to be a most fashionable witch on the planet, I don't think, so we'll work on that. Now, because the top of the hat is kind of loose right there, see it? We'll have to wrap that with some ribbon or something, a sparkly purple pipe cleaner, wrap it around there, or some lights or something. We'll figure something out. Now, I'm letting this kind of fall. If you want to be more particular with it, that's just fine. But see how when you tighten it, it tightened all the way up the form? That's fine. This is a craft. We are not going to have to be specific. You know, we're just having fun and experiment. Now I'm going to go a little further down the leg of the form, down to the second level. See, I always put a good amount of glue. And I always put my glue on a coaster so that if it drips or sticks to anything or a plate, you know, it's better that way. Now pull it tight, but see how it's wanting to bunch? I'm actually going to let it. Because I don't think a witch's hat would be perfect. Plus, I actually need to tighten it up. It's getting a little too loose. So I'm just going to let it crinkle a little bit and tighten it up. Now hold it there till the glue gets tacky. Now see how we have some loose right there? We need to add a little more glue. So if you're using this Gorilla kind, it just beads out the tip. That's fine. You can leave the lid off just for your short, you know, what we're doing. See how I'm holding that so it dries? I'm not going to worry about it completely drying. I just want it to get tacky so that it will hold it when I let go. Now experiment. Let go a little bit. See how it stayed tight? See how the top didn't? See how loose that is? What you can also do is when we get get done all this wrapped, we can take a little more of this, if we have any left, and re-wrap that part. It won't look bad. It'll just blend in, especially since we're letting it wrinkle up a little bit. It's just going to look like the fabric of the hat is wrinkled. That's fine. Witches are not Vogue models. So I think she has her hat in the closet or in a hat tree. Now sometimes go a little bit up on the fabric with the glue, because the next piece of fabric's going to go up there. It's going to be layered. So it's okay to add a little glue on top of the fabric you just wrapped. Pull it tight again. Pull it real tight. And just rotate your wreath form. See? Now pull it tight a sec till the glue tacks down a little bit. All right. Now we can add more and keep going. Sometimes your glue will dry before you get a chance to get down there. That's okay. That's okay. This stuff dries clear. You can make a mistake. This is not rocket science. We're not sending a man to the moon, so we don't got to worry about re-entry. This is fun. So I want it to crinkle. I want it to look like crinkled fabric. So I'm actually taking it with my hands and bunching it up a little bit. Pull some more up. Now see where that got loose on me because I wasn't paying attention? Just pull it because the glue is not completely dry yet. And if you do need to, we're going to add a little more glue right there. See, just go up underneath it, add a little more glue to the form, right over the fabric. You're just fine. You can go right over the fabric. No one's going to complain. No one's going to shoot you. No one's going to really even know. Now, hold it tight till it tacks a little bit. Now, see if you can let it go. You don't need to have to hold it very long. Now, of course, if you want this to be nice and neat, pull it, keep it tight the whole time you wrap it. Don't worry about bunching it like I'm doing. If you want it to be nice and neat, wrap it like you would a Christmas present. And that would be just fine too. Just perfectly fine. Here's what we've got so far. Now I've noticed by looking in the camera that we're a little light right there. See how it's coming through right there and not, so we're gonna rewrap the top and probably down to here if we have enough fabric left, which I can't tell because it's in the floor, but I think we should. But I like how it gets a little darker when you bunch the fabric. This is the fabric unbunched, okay? So that's why it's a little more see-through. But we've got to rewrap the top because it was too loose. That's okay. I've never worked with this wreath form before, so I'm learning as I go. So it's okay. This is fun. This is not, we're not doing the accounting books for some big firm, and if we get it wrong, someone's going to shoot us or fire us. No one fires you from your own craft projects. Now, I've noticed that some of this was a little bit loose, loosey-goosey. That's okay. Just pull it tight and keep going. You can fix that. Just like when you're painting, you have finishing painting. Well, we can do finishing touches on a wreath form. Okay? Now, we're going to keep going. Put some glue just like this. All the way down to the next strut. That's a good word for it, a strut. There are many different kinds of struts. I'm not talking about how someone walks. Boy, I'm not one. Howdy, I'm not one to talk about how people walk. I can barely walk myself. You know, when I was a kid, growing up, when I was a teenager in the church youth group, we had this one youth director, Jim Oswald. and his wife Teresa. And Brother Jim used to like to tease me. He said I was a weeble wobble. I weeble and I wobble and I sometimes fall down. If you don't know what a weeble wobble is, it's this little toy that's kind of egg-shaped. And they even had special houses and playground equipment for these weeble wobbles. And you could knock them around and they would just wibble. They would go back and forth, but they wouldn't really fall down. And mine, I had a house for my weeble family. I had playground equipment, anything to keep a 5-year-old who was in a cast from getting bored, you know. So they spent the money and got me the weeble house, and they had a house and they had playground equipment. They had a weeble school bus. I have loved it. I even took one of my weebles apart because it cracked when I dropped it. And I took it apart to see what was inside. What was inside was a ball of rubber bands with a piece of metal in the center. A very little weight in the middle. But he used to call me a human weeble wobble. Although he was one to talk, he took longer than his wife to get ready in the morning because he had to do his hair. So one day, we were at a church camp. And so we got his wife to help us out. And we actually got a hold of his hair gel while she distracted him. And we froze it. And when we froze it, we waited. She had put one of hers, I guess, I don't know how she kept him from noticing it, but in the morning, she actually went in and got it because our little cabins had kitchens. She actually came in the girls' cabin and got the hair gel out of the freezer and switched it out. I guess she put a different one in its place because he never just came with just one thing of hair gel. And he went to get ready for church camp that next morning, and his hair gel was frozen solid. He had to go all day without, because she hid his other hair gel. And so we made him go all day without fixing his hair. Talk about revenge. I loved it. And he never even thought I was involved because I usually didn't do stuff like that. I hate practical jokes. Generally, as a rule, I can't stand them. Okay, I ran out of fabric. This is not a bad thing. Just move it down a little. You're going to get glue on your hands, your clothes. Glitter's going to go everywhere. Just scrunch it down a little. So if you do this, you might want to get 2 rolls of this stuff. All right? We can fix the top. We got to get the bottom, but decorations are going down here, so it doesn't need to be, for my plan to work, it doesn't need to be that worrisome about the bottom here, because I've got decorations I want to put on it. And so I'm not upset about the loose spots. I've got a happy Halloween stuff. I've got stuff to put on it. And so I glue myself to the bottle. See, happens to me too. Plus, I'm going to have big bushy flowers here at the bottom. So we don't have to be too worried about the bottom. Now, if you don't want the glitter to keep coming off, because I'll show you my shirt in a little bit. Glitter is real. You can hairspray it. Hairspray the glitter so that it won't. You have some time before the glue dries to move things around. Hairspray the thing here so the glitter won't shed as bad when you hairspray it. Now you need to tack this end that's loose down. So just put some glue right on the end there. Don't worry about it globbing. This is clear. And you can always put a decoration over there. A little spider would be really good right there. A couple of little spiders or a little cocoon. You know, if you're going to make the cocoons, they're really easy to do. But keep in mind the size of your spider. If you got a cocoon this big, your spider needs to be bigger than that. So don't have a cocoon this big and a spider that big. It's size. That drives me nuts. Now, we got loosey-goosey. What I'm going to do at the bottom here, see how kind of loose it is? Let me turn it around. See that? I'm going to put glue right there. And then we're going to wrap it up underneath it and over. Just like that, okay? Why am I doing this? Well, number one, I don't want it to just hang out there. It might snag on the other decorations and unravel the whole thing. Number two, brim of a hat usually is tucked up like that. At least my grandpa's hats were. My grandpa wore enough hats that when he passed away, my cousins were the pallbearers. And so every cousin had a different one of Grandpa's hats on for the entire funeral. Not just the pallbearers, but all of us. He had enough hats that every cousin had a hat of Grandpa's in the entire funeral. And the pallbearers all got a hat, and everybody got to keep their Grandpa hat. Mine is hanging on the wall in my bedroom. Now, that's how that looks. Keep in mind, it's going to look rough, because see, look at the back. You're going to let it dry first, number one. Number two, you could take ribbon and wrap like a purple ribbon or gold ribbon or whatever around it, like this, so that it goes down. That would help hold it, but it also would look really good. And then you can decorate it both on the webbing here and on the ribbon. The top is loose. It's, not what we wanted. And I was hoping to have enough of this left over to rewrap the whole hat, but we didn't. So like I said, if you're going to get this stuff from the Dollar Tree, get 2 rolls for the hat form if you're going to do this. But what we're going to do, see if you can see in there, is the wreath form. We're going to stick some glue just at the top tip, the top V, cover it in glue. Now, take your fingers and wrap it around. And that glue is going to come through that mesh netting and get on your fingers, but that's fine, because that will help hold it to the tip of the wreath form. Now, once it starts to get sticky, just lift your fingers off, and that's better. We will that will be finished with a flower or a spider or a ghost. If you could put a little ghost right there, or a spider. If I'm going to put a spider, I'm going to find a fake spider or something, or maybe a smaller version of the purple that's going to be here at the base. But this is how the fabric looks. That's the fabric. Now, you've seen me wrap twine. I'm already covered in glitter and glue, so we might as well keep going. Oh, looky at me, glitter and glue. Oh, wait, my twine I gotta cut it. This is another reason I don't use these scissors for anything else, because I get covered in glitter, I get covered in glue, and those scissors, if they get covered in glitter and glue, it's no big deal. Now, what I might do after the fabric dries on is wrap. I'm using this as an example. I think I've got some black ribbon, so I might put some black ribbon around it like that, and then continue down the wreath form like so. to help hold it on, and that would also give it some more look. But I don't know if I have any black ribbon. If not, I can always get some. That's not a big deal. What is a big deal is I almost just glued my fingers shut. But hey, now, see that? That's an easy fix. Grab your glue. Now, you could also be doing this at a table. I happen to not be. My ribs are hurting and I didn't feel like sitting unsupported. Because like I said, I popped my rib. Now, you've got gaps in the fabric, so just take your glue, put a dab will do ya. Dab of glue on the fabric and tack it down a little. It's called, I call it tacking it down. Whether that's how it's really called or not, I don't know. But I just tack it down a little bit with a little more glue. Like so. And just continue it down. And now when it's dry, the glue and all, and when I'm just about done with the whole decoration, some of this fabric is going to be loosey-goosey on that frame, even though you tried to glue it down. Glue myself to the glue. A little more glue is not going to hurt it, but you do got to give the glue time to dry. But as you can see, I hope you can see without my hands in the way, I want some of these gaps to just look like a natural hat. But some of them are just too many gaps. So I'm just pushing it with some glue down on the form. Boy, this glue stinks. I forgot what it smelled like. Yeesh. You can also go on the side-to-side bars and glue it to them. But that didn't occur to me till now. Now, I was going to start wrapping the twine around the brim part, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I have another idea. I've got the purple flowers you saw me haul are kind of big. So I'm just going to go across the brim with the flowers. And then I've got purple lights with a black wire. They're going to go in among the flowers. In fact, if you're going to do this, take your lights, and I'm using the lights that plug in and lights that are battery operated, both. Take your lights, and the ones that plug in are going to be here at the base. So wrap them first. All right, wrap them around here first and add a touch of glue here and there like I showed you with the wreath forms when I wrapped the twine. Remember how I put a touch of glue so it doesn't unravel? Do that. Touch of glue, wrap your wires. And then put the flowers over top of the lights. You don't have to make sure that every single light is showing because they will shine through the petals of the flowers. And then I'm going to use battery operated spider lights on the hat, and I'm going to put some in the flowers. That'll be another night. I'm going to let this dry overnight. Now, I like the look we obtained by bunching the fabric. See? If I would have kept it tight and did single, it would have been thinner, like that here, this here. So this will have something put on it. I don't know what. I will figure that out when we get to that part. And I'll video this this is going to be as we go. So this is part 1, witch's hat. That's what I've got for now. But the glue is very wet and I'm sticking to the form. So I'm going to literally, I've got a trash can. No, I'm not throwing it away. But this part is wider than the trash can. And the trash can is sitting in front of an end table. So I'm putting it on top of the trash can and just barely leaning it against the end table. That's going to give airflow around all the glue so it doesn't stick to something when you lay it down to dry. If you've got to lay it down on something and you've got some wax paper, put that down, or parchment paper. or a tablecloth that you don't need, put it down on there. Because if you put that down on a tabletop, you're going to have glue on your tabletop, and you could take the finish off with the glue. I'm not exactly sure how not to do that. I guess you could try to dampen the glue with hot water a little bit and get it to warm up a little bit so it's sticky again, then try to get it off. But chances are you're going to leave a hole in your finish. You know, there's going to be I've got that on my kitchen table. Good thing my friend Anne, who is going to help me fix that. So that's what's going on there. And that's part 1 of the witch's hat. Thank you for being with me tonight, and have a good day. Bye, everybody.